Hi friends, it's me, Miss Brystan, and I'm so glad that you're here. I have a really fun read aloud for you today, a really special title. It is called The Octopus Escapes, and it's by Maile Meloy. And I'm reading you this book because you might notice this coming winter that we're doing a lot of ocean-themed programming. You're going to see a lot of octopi in our branches this winter, and that's because this title is one of our Rogue Reads titles. What is Rogue Reads? Rogue Reads is a community reading program. We call it Rogue Reads because we live in a place called the Rogue Valley. And a community reading program just means that we are encouraging as many people as possible to read the same book. And this is the one I've picked for us. And what it does is it allows us to have one thing in common. There's so many things that we have not in common, but this will be the one thing that we have in common. We can say that even through all of our differences, we've at least all read this same book. And that's pretty cool. So before we jump right into this title, we have to get our bodies ready, right? And you'll remember this song. But let's get our hands ready because we're going to clap. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. And I'm still feeling a little wiggly. I'm still not quite ready. So let's do another verse. If you're ready for a story, do a dance. If you're ready for a story, do a dance. There's no bad dancing in story time, by the way. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, do a dance. Okay, I feel better now. Now we can get started. And again, this is The Octopus Escapes. From where does this octopus escape? I guess we'll find out. The octopus was happy in his cave. He watched the world go by outside. Bright fish darted by, some in schools and some alone. He could see starfish from his door and shiny mussels. And this little fish here, where's this guy? Looks like he's in a diver hat. Sometimes waves came rolling in, little shivery ones or big tumbling ones. The waves left sand on his floor, so he swept it out. Sometimes crabs came in. He liked to chase them for dinner, although this crab does not seem to be too happy about it. One day, something new came into his cave. He wrestled with it and pulled it free. It was empty, so he climbed inside to hide. Look at this octopus shaping himself to fit inside, but it was a mistake. Then he was in a glass house that wasn't a cave. The glass house was in a big room where a human peered in at him. Behind her, there were sad gray sharks and slow sea stars in a glass houses of their own. Where is this place? The human said he's shy and gave him tests that looked like toys. Sometimes the tests were hard and he felt smart, but sometimes they were easy. Look at him fit through all those spaces, just like the glove from earlier. The human taught him to take pictures of people who came to see him. People love to be in pictures. And they made funny faces. Can you make a funny face? That's my funny face. But every day was the same in the glass house. The food came at the same time and it always tasted the same, and he didn't have to chase it. There were no waves, no little shivery ones, and no big tumbling ones. He missed the different fish swimming by his cave and the starfish and shiny mussels. He missed warm spots in cold water and cold spots in warm, and he hadn't known how nice that was until it was gone. He tried to tell the human he was bored. He tried to show her how small the tank was, but she only laughed and peeled his tentacles off her arms, one by one by one by one by one. Do you know how many tentacles an octopus has? They have 8 tentacles. Should we count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, I don't have another hand. 6, 7, 8. That was when he knew that he had to go. So the octopus is going to escape. He waited for night to come. The same old dinner plopped into the same still water. The sleepy sharks cruised back and forth, and the slow sea stars dozed. The lights went out, and it was time. He took one more picture so that they wouldn't worry, a selfie, if you will. Then he slid down the glass and across the floor. He made himself flat and squeezed beneath the door. Outside, the pier was noisy and bright, and he smelled the salt of the ocean close by. He reached way, way, way down until he felt the spray and dropped. He changed colors 3 times in the water just because he could. What color would you turn into if you could? For me, I think it's obvious. I would turn pink. It was a long swim back to his cave. The ocean was warm and cold and shivery and tumbling, and he had to dive away from boats, and he got very hungry. Do you see our octopus somewhere in this water? He's way over here. But he thought of the same food plopping into the tank and the same unchanging water and the 4 glass walls he couldn't swim through. And he kept on until he saw starfish and mussels he knew. And at last he found his cave. Hooray! He chased a crab and brought it home for dinner, but there was sand on his floor, and there were fish sleeping in his bed, and he swept them out. He made his cave just right, and no one gave him tests or wanted their picture taken. He was home, and he could do what he wanted, and so he settled in to watch the world swim by. Oh, my pages are stuck together, you guys. That's okay, because it is the end. And that was The Octopus Escapes by Maile Meloy. I'm so glad you were here to listen to our story today. And I hope you come visit the library and see all the octopi and all the cool, fun ocean stuff that we're doing. But before we say goodbye, we've got to sing our song. Our story time is over, wave goodbye. Our story time is over, wave goodbye. Our story time is done. I hope you had some fun. Our story time is over, wave goodbye. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you later. Bye.